the I think 3 episodes that they released.
3.
And then that's what kind of triggered me to go back and watch the original. And then I'm watching her play. I'm like, oh my gosh, they actually wrote that into the story that she rolls that bad.
Of course.
Well, it's interesting. It's funny you brought that up because Mike and I were talking about that before you jumped on, and they were playing Pathfinder with those characters.
Yeah.
They transformed them over to 5e, and they started going.
Yep.
And Mike was like, "Only Matt knows the rules. The rest of them are a bunch of kindergartners learning how to play a game and say, I do this.' And it's like I jump off the chandelier, flip 3 times, and cast a fireball. And Matt's always like, all right. Okay, interesting." And you can see the wheels. He's trying to say, "Oh, okay,
how do I
fit
this? Yes.
Yeah,
how do I fit this in?
Can I make this work?" And that's.
Yep.
I love that
like
style.
That.
Like I like to play that way.
I do too.
To a point. Sometimes it's just like, okay, come on. But it's fun to, especially new players. Man, I had a group of 5 before it jumped to 11. But I had a group of 5 new players. Literally had never played a day in their life. And they just were like, "This looks cool. I want to play this." I had 2 Rangers, and I think I had 2 Rangers and 2 Druids, and they were like random.
They were all Dragonborn.
2 were Dragonborn. 1 was a half elf. I mean, like they were like, "This is just super." There was no number crunching. They had no idea. It was just pure raw. Just this is fun and cool. This is what I want to play, and I loved it. And that's how I tried to teach them how to play. Like they were like, "Well, how do I do this?" Don't worry about rules. You tell me what you want, and I'll tell you the mechanics.
I'll tell you what to roll.
Yeah, I'll give you the mechanics, and then over time you'll learn it and you'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I love teaching new players how to play. It's just
speaking of
so much cool stuff.
Yeah, speaking of teaching new players how to play, I came across a folder as I was cleaning up, and I found my very first character sheet.
Thank goodness. I thought I was going to get a performance evaluation.
Yeah. Under
That's a clipboard.
Under what is it? Building is the phraseology now, not underperforming, but no, it's a second edition advanced D&D.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a Xander Dark Shadow thief class level 2 halfling. Chaotic good.
Xander.
He was introduced in a barrel of ale.
Oh, got me wanting to go back and watch the whole series again too. It's just I'm sitting there thinking about all the stuff that happened.
So I was telling Matt before this. I watched the first 17 episodes of Critical Role sometime during 2020. And then I didn't watch any more because, ironically, I didn't have time, even though we were all locked down at home and didn't have anything better to do. But I watched Legends of Vox Machina on Friday, and then I watched 20 hours of Critical Role over the weekend. I watched 5 episodes of Critical Role over the entire weekend.
Oh, wow.
So.
Well, I looked at they got a playlist of all of like season 1. It's like 140 some episodes.
Yep.
And so episode 1 has like 17 million views.
Yeah.
Yep.
Episode 2 has 7 million views. Episode 3 has like 4, and then it like steadies out at like 3 million views. Like the rest, it's like,
dang.
So you can see how it's like the hype cycle drops.
Yeah.
Well, so that's our potential market, though. I mean,
yeah.
Well, that's people checking out because if you look at I just happened to be looking earlier. First episode of on YouTube of this show, there's like, I don't know, 700. I don't know. There's several hundred people watch the first episode, and then it drops off to like 20 on episode 2. So it's just people. It's just, well,
that's fair. I've seen the first episode.
Yeah, right. And so it just drops off. It's just people checking it out and then going on. I personally always give like 3 or 4 episodes because you gotta find your rhythm. And that first episode, everybody's kind of like, "What the hell are we doing? I've never done this before." Yeah.
Have you ever watched the first episode of Star Trek: The New Generation, The Next Generation?
Yes.
It's terrible.
It's at Farpoint.
They are so stiff.
Encounter at Farpoint.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, this is awful. It's like you've got to. I mean, and they're good at. I mean, especially
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. It's like they're seasoned actors. It's just you can tell they're like, we don't know what we're doing or who we are.
Yeah, and I haven't really like I have an idea what my character is, but your character evolves and like
It does.
develops itself. You may have an idea and you stick to it a little bit, but it's within 3 or 4 episodes you've started figuring out who your character really is.
Yeah, and it also kind of molds into the shape of the other characters as well.
Yeah, and the DM style and stuff like that. So
in a lot of ways, is a huge advantage of Critical Role's approach of playing for 3 years and then starting a podcast. Right? Like, they already knew all of these characters. They knew each other. They knew how they played.
That's true. That's true.
Before diving in, so they already had a lot of rapport from day one.
Well, it's no wonder.
The first time I had played with any of you was episode 1 of Age of Heroes.
Yeah.
In face to face. I'd played with Jamie before and played by post, but
obviously Heath and I played before, but I hadn't played with you two. Jamie and I did Mike. We did what 2 or 3 episodes. So
with Jamie as well. Yeah. We did have an aborted attempt at a prior podcast.
Yeah. And it was. I think that's right when the pandemic hit too. So that didn't work out.
It sure is. It was like almost exactly riding that wave, and yeah. I was going to come to PaizoCon that year, and it did not happen.
Watching those, not only Critical Role, but a couple other sort of high-profile streams. I saw a couple things, and I'm like, I'm gonna make sure I don't do that. It's easy to be critical of other people, and it's like, do I do that? I'm not going to do that.
Man, it is the hardest thing in the world to go back and listen to yourself.
Yeah,
especially like way back when we did the first podcast, the
Cold Shot.
Oh my God, Cold Shot. Thank you. I first 10 episodes, I finally went back and I started editing them about episode 5. That's when I started paying attention, and I had all of these little nuances and things I would say over and over, like just. And I knew I would do that in casual conversation, but I'm like, you can't do that when you're recording. You've got to take out those things like that and common, just whatever phrases you use on a regular basis. Even the first episode of this, I caught myself using the word kinda, like I'm describing something that's kind of like this, kind of like that. I watched the first episode and I think I said kinda maybe 45 times. I'm like, I kind of got to stop doing that,
Kind of got a problem. Yep.
Yeah. So I kind of started trying to fix that. But it's no wonder that the best, I guess, podcast and the best webcast out there are. The webcast is nothing but professional voice actors and some actual actor. Ashley, she was in Avengers for God's sakes, and then you've got the Glass Cannon. You got a professional comedian as the DM, and you got somebody that's graduate from Juilliard. You got all these professional entertainers doing this. It's not much of a stretch to figure out they're pretty good at what they're doing.
Yeah.
Then you
got to work through some of those kinks.
Well, I think you've got a stand-up comedian, and then 2 actors, a playwright, and then Grant was a videographer. So like all the production stuff. He had that
locked down. I just recently found out. I forgot where I heard it, but O'Brien used to be a professional, or like was a
DJ
in debate, a DJ, but he was also a major debater. Like he did a lot of debate in high school and college and stuff like that. So that just that's just brain activity, I suppose.
So would you call him?
That's what we need to do. Argue more on our podcast or our show.
I disagree.
Speaking of brain activity.
3 points why.
I really hope that transition goes to Cowards here.
Yay, Cowards here. My brain activity was a little lapsed last time, and I forgot to mention there was a head on the wall.
Staring back at us.
Yeah, without a tongue. And
the most important head.
You guys spent a good 20 or 30 minutes just searching, looking around, looting. And then you're like, let's go downstairs. And then you go downstairs and you're like, wait a second. Wasn't there a head on that wall? Head? We need to look at that. So you came back upstairs. That's our what do you call that?
Segue.
Retcon.
Retcon. There we go. So, yes, you come back up to the kitchen where you fought. Actually, you didn't really fight Tongue Eater in the kitchen. You fought him in the hallway. But you did fight a bunch of thugs and rogues who probably did more damage to Farazan than. Well, I think they did all the damage. I don't remember Tongue Eater attacking Farazan at all. He was hell bent for.
He was trying to get to Tarathiel, but never made it.
No.
Got very close.
I mean, he got drunk on healing potions on the way there, but no, he did not make it. So you guys are in this this large kitchen. You've looted all that's to be looted, and yes, there is a head basically stuck on a spike on the wall, and it's a dead head. The jaws is slacked open, and there is no tongue inside of it, which may lend to the fact that the guy's name is Tongue Eater. But you are almost without without a doubt, you think that this is Sarcum's head. And that's where we are
health
today.
code violation.
That's going to be a minus. You're down to 94.
That's right. Here goes that
So-
Michelin star.
When Jinya burst in and says, "Hey, I need your help,"
Yes.
that was less than a day ago, right? That was like last night.
That was last night. You went the entire night on the road to get here.
And at that point, she had just talked to him.
She had received a sending from him.
Okay, so he's relatively recently dead.
Yeah, with he's still moist.
That's good. So that means that when he was talking to her, they were holed up, like, trying to stay alive. Seems like since he's dead, that wherever they were, they got in. Right? I mean, I'm just trying to connect some dots here.
There could still be another survivor. Sarkum did say they know we're here.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you did mention that at the end of last episode, getting you a nice hero point.
Yeah, I want inspiration.
Inspiration. That was nice. But
Perfect timing for inspiration right at the end of a session.
Right at
when
the
you
end.
can't spend.
So you have, I mean, I've put Sarcum's head on the wall next to the back door, and
It's red.
it's red. It's blood. There is, I mean, it's just a head. There's no sign of a body in this room, and you haven't seen a headless body since you've been here either.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yes, I went back and looked at all my notes.
There wasn't one in that first room, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
We just missed.
Oh, yeah. Remember the head?
Remember when
that
we first
body.
came in, there was that headless body. Had a name badge that said, "Hello, my name is Sarkum."
Please save me. No, you have not seen a headless body to date. Or at this point.
It looks like we're too late for Sarkum.
Yeah. I will walk over to the pike and take the head off the pike.
Now, don't touch it. What are you doing?
And then I'll try to find a sack, like a weed or flower or something in here.
You have a silver bag, a silk bag.
I
The
don't
silk
want
bag.
to soil my.
You
my
are in a
window.
kitchen and you have found the prep area. Yeah, there's a bag for sure.
Okay. All right. So whatever it is, I'll empty it out and I put Sarkin's head inside.
Okay.
Tie it up.
You are great with head.
Okay. I think at the very least we need to return something.
Yes,
Okay.
but I don't know. Is it weird to hand Jen your bag and say, "We bought what's left of Sarkum back"?
So this is one of those uncomfortable moments when Khaldun looks at the two of you and goes, "Is it weird?"
Doesn't.
I would think that recovering the body in its entirety and returning it to his church would be the honorable course of action.
So this is part 1 of 2.
Technically 3 because we don't know where the tongue is, right?
Oh, true.
I have a very sneaking suspicion we know exactly where the tongue is, and I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
I don't think even Khaldun will not go after that right now.
Yep.
I mean, unless you cut him open, you have to go in through the anus, right? So that's no fun.
I need an adult.
Farazan's got survival skills. He knows how to field dress a what was it?
Werebaboon.
A werebaboon, yeah.
A weregibbon.
Weregibbon.
Murderous weregibbon.
All right, you guys are in
All
the
right.
kitchen. What is the plan?
We know the courtyard is full of monkeys. Do we want to head downstairs and have a look, or keep looking around upstairs?
Phrasing. But yes. Down bar the door to the courtyard and then head downstairs. I did it too. Go downstairs.
So did
Let's see if we can find the rest of them.
Did Genia say that they were holed up in the basement? Or did
The
I sort of infer that somehow?
Hang on, I will give you the exact wording because I
Go
have
for it.
this.
I was about to look it up.
At Lucky Monkey have cited wand recipe. Barbarian ape man mortally wounded. They know we're here. Send help.
Oh, and we need the wand recipe.
Okay, you have a paraphrase of the entire thing. Let me read it to you again. Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Please.
At Lucky Monkey have cited wand recipes. Tavern's been attacked. Bandits led by barbarian ape man. Mortally wounded. Retreated to basement. They know we're here. Send assistance.
Retreated
Yeah,
to
I thought
basement.
there was basement in there someplace.
Yes.
You know, for some reason I had that locked in my brain.
Definitely.
Okay. So, to the basement.
I agree.
Sally Falls.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna put you guys in the basement and
And-
just hold tight.
Can we
Or you can.
lock that
I'm running away.
patio door there?
That patio door is barred from the inside.
good.
It is.
But-
Yeah.
The back patio door.
The back patio door.
Ba-dum.
Oh, Wednesday afternoons, if you interested in another podcast. All right, you are down in the basement. This appears to be, I think I described it last time, but just as a refresher,
Oh wait,
the
sorry.
room is dominated by several large tanks, kegs, and other brewing equipment. The tanks are now empty and hacked into pieces, and the floor is stinking morass of muddy earth, soaked with a mixture of beer, mead, and blood.
Gasp.
A terrible battle must have taken place here. So yeah, it's obvious there was some fighting here. There's a lot of blood. I've already opened it up, and you see the blue square.
Mhm.
I've got to the far left down the corridor. So Khaldun was
Super
moving
cool.
around checking things out, and you got close. You got right in front of the door when you started feeling extreme cold. And I went ahead and warned you. You get any closer, and you're going to start taking damage.
Okay.
But it kind of got jumbled then. That's when I realized I forgot the head was upstairs. There are 2 bodies, like thugs, some of the thugs that you fought before, immediately next to this brown mold-looking stuff. They are frozen solid, and one of them is still holding a torch in its hand. But they're dead. Like, it's obvious they're thug sickles next to the brown mold.
Okay. So there was a massacre down here. The kegs lost.
Mhm.
At the bottom of the stairs, there's not a door at the bottom of the stairs, right?
Yes, that's the door.
No.
Right
I mean,
there.
like, no. It's like we don't have to open a door to come into the basement.
No. There's a door at the top of the stairs that goes into the kitchen, but not down here. No.
Okay, so them barricading themselves in would not be in the basement. It would be somewhere else in this basement.
What?
They would have
Yeah,
to be behind one of these
they
doors.
would be behind one of the doors if they were.
That makes logical sense.
Okay.
And Kaylin's gonna have to make me a new pair of shoes after this.
I did memorize prestidigitation to clean up our tuxedos when we get back, so
Oh,
I have that ready.
that's nice.
We're not wearing our tuxedos, right? We got changed.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I do remember you putting your armor over the tuxedo, though.
What? No,
Not actually, because you were in a hurry.
Did not do
No.
that.
You guys got
no,
back.
I kind of love that idea. I kind of love the idea that we just go back to town, take off our armor, and we're ready for the party.
We're like Batman.
Is it still going on?
Yes.
No,
Back in
it's
town for
it's
coffee.
probably died down by now because it's just past dawn. You guys got to this area. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. You got to the area. You got to the edge of the jungle at daylight, and it took you another hour or so to get on in to find the lucky monkey. So it's, 8 or 9 in the morning, still fairly early.
All right, Tarathiel will check out this door at the bottom of the stairs, see if there's any.
Okay. And one last thing, except for the little bit of light that's coming down the stairs, it is dark down here. There's no light.
I cast light on Farzan. Farzan, what would you like me to light up?
My life.
He'll
Come
hold
on,
up
baby,
hold
love
up
me.
one of the his gauntlets. This, if you
Okay.
please.
All right. So I light up one of his gauntlets.
There's under the glowing fist. All
Yeah,
right.
they're going to call you Bright Fist in all the stories.
So that is 60 feet of light. Yeah, the whole room is lit up. Tarathiel, you're standing next to a door. What you gonna do? You gonna do some rolls? Gonna do some listenings?
Yeah, I guess. Is it locked?
No,
appear to be
it's
locked?
not locked. It is not.
Probably
Then
should
yeah,
have been.
I'll have a listen to the door. But if it's not locked, it's unlikely that this would be where they would be. That's a 10, so I probably don't know anyway.
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
Let's go in.
All right, open the door. Let me reveal this for you. This is obviously the wine cellar. You see 2 racks that run north to south, and every single one of the racks is empty. There are some shattered bottles of wine on the floor, spilled wine here and there. It's obvious that this place has been ransacked.
All right. I don't think there's anyone in here. This is where we really need Elmo. That would just. Rachel, we miss you and your radar sense.
Yeah, right.
Is that a
Definitely
door to the
radar.
north, just inside that?
There are no doors to the north. No, they're all.
No, I think that's just where the door swings open, right?
Yes, correct. It's weird they've done that, but yeah, I guess it's to show you which way it swings.
All right. I'll check the 2 non-frozen doors just to see. I'm assuming whoever's here is probably behind the frozen door. Would be my guess.
Go to the first door. Take a
yeah.
listen.
11. Still don't.
Still
really hear anything.
quiet. It is not locked.
Faizan, do you want to try and use your stick to maybe knock on the door, the other door, at the end of the corridor?
So standing right here in front of that door, you are not taking damage. This is a safe from this blue patch of death.
Okay.
If you're immediately
I
next
guess-
to it, that's when you start hurting.
So Farazan, as a Goliath, has resistance to cold.
Okay.
And reach.
Does that negate that damage or lessen it at all?
So in 5e, resistance means you take half damage. So you would take less, but
Still hurts.
anything that's So you're also basically immune to environmental weather, probably down to like -30 or 40. But like supernatural cold or things that put off damaging cold,
Mhm.
you'll still take some damage, but you take half. You take less.
Okay.
I might be able to thaw it out once we get down there. I have an idea.
A bonfire. Just as he steps within, a few feet of this door to the south of the hallway, he will pause momentarily to have a listen.
Okay. Give me a perception. And Tarathiel, you give me what, like an 11? Yeah, you didn't
Yeah.
do anything either.
So
12 for
Tarathiel will
Farazan.
push open the door. We're
Don't
getting
hear
steadily better. We've got 10, 11, 12 in
Yep,
the
you're
rolls.
going to hit 20 eventually.
Well, we're saving it for the last door.
So
Yeah, Tarathiel will open this door. I don't
Open
know
the
if Farazan's
door.
going to open his door as well, just to give the GM too much to do at once.
So you try to open the door, and it is basically a fruit and vegetable cellar. You see them scattered all over the floor, bananas, various different legumes and stuff. It's a fruit cellar with vegetables. It's cool in here, but it's not cold or even chilly. It's just cooler than what you've seen so far.
Oh,
Especially compared to outside, it is much cooler down here.
are there tomatoes?
Yes.
Excellent.
Hey, do you want to make a salsa? Let's
Have you
a
seen
salsa?
have you seen the thing that tells you that it that describes the D&D statistics in terms of tomatoes?
Yes.
No.
You haven't
No.
seen that? It's fantastic. So it says strength is being able to crush a tomato. Dexterity is being able to dodge a tomato if someone throws it at you. Constitution is being able to eat a rotten tomato. Intelligence is knowing that a tomato is not a fruit. Wisdom is knowing that a tomato does not go into a fruit salad. And charisma is being able to sell a tomato to anyone. Oh, no.
Being able to sell a tomato-based fruit salad.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. I ruined the punchline.
I think you also said intelligence is knowing that tomato is not a fruit.
No, is a fruit.
Yeah.
It
It
isn't.
is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to remember. I was trying to remember the
we all
punchline
have
as I got there, and I didn't do a
Yes.
very good job of it.
I remember
Tarathiel.
one of my earliest, somebody explaining to me intelligence versus wisdom. You know, when you're 8, 9, 10 years old, like, what the hell's the difference? Intelligence, knowing it's rain. Wisdom, knowing to get out of it. That's always been my benchmark for intelligence and wisdom.
Good call. Good call.
Nice. Clean. Tarathiel will grab a banana if there's a ripe-looking one. lying
There
around.
is a perfectly ripe, large banana.
And he'll peel it and eat it awkwardly in front of Khaldun.
Just staring
I
at
will
him.
watch and I will stare at it and go, "Is it good?"
This is my banana. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
So good.
How do you,
All right.
well, I was going to
we'll
ask
move
how do you
down
cut
here.
a banana with a psychic knife? But yeah,
Very messily. I bet that would explode.
yeah. Fair's,
That
With
would be,
grace and
that would be
style.
an interesting experiment.
so Fairzon will take his staff and tap on the door from 5 feet away.
Okay, you move right next to the area of cold, and you need to give me a Constitution saving throw.
That one.
His staff has reach, right?
Mhm.
No, but he is clearly
Still has to be
right
next
next
to it.
to it.
Yeah.
I mean, he is standing right next to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I
Yeah.
still have to get there, even with the 10-foot staff, right? I still have to stand right there.
You've got no problem. You can tap the door, but the fact is, you are standing right next to this brown mold.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. All right. How about a 21? Does that
21.
work for you?
That is a successful saving throw.
Better than 7.
But that means you only take half, but you will take a quarter of 12, 7, 16. So you take
My
4.
goodness.
Bloody hell.
You take 4 points of cold damage. Standing
That's
next
very
to
cold.
This. That's
You
very,
walked
very
up
cold.
and liquid nitrogen poured on your face.
No
It
kidding.
makes sense now why the 2 humans that are lying next to this mold are frozen solid,
All right. After
and it is Arctic right where you are.
after tap, he takes a step back.
For
You
Zon, can I try something?
Be my guest.
Did you guys open the door to south? I missed that if you did.
No, I
Okay.
thought I was waiting. I was getting ready for him to do that, and he's like, "I'm going to tap the door." So okay.
Just making sure.
Tarathiel leans forward and just pokes his banana just into the frozen zone.
It freezes.
Oh yes.
You have a frozen banana. It's about halfway frozen. It starts creeping up towards your hand.
You are
Yeah.
now a fruit ninja.
This is
You seen that video game, Fruit Ninja?
Yes.
we should open a banana stand, guys.
if we brought milk down here and poured it on there. I think this would make something interesting.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Khaldun was going to try something.
Okay. Yes.
I'll stop looking around and look.
Oh, hold on.
All right, fine. Advance the plot if you feel like it.
Well, at
Whatever.
this point, I'm just going to open the door to the south.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you guys gonna do a shimmy shuffle?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I guess.
All
so.
right.
All right. Since no one was, I'll open this.
Farazan sticks his head into the wall on the other side.
You open the door. This room feels moist and humid. Several sides of meat hang from hooks set to the ceiling, and a number of storage bins line the west wall. The far end of the room is empty except for an open metal box lying on its side.
Uh-oh.
So I've read this description several times, and that makes no sense. And you'll find out why later. But an open metal box lying on its side. The box is lined with slowly melting frost. A large sign hangs near the door. It's bold red letters reading, "No fire beyond this point."
Khaldun, get back.
Yes, I was just about
Fire.
to do something
Out of the-
flamey.
Out of the meat room.
Yeah, it's like, this is my place. These are my people.
He just opens it up. He's like, oh,
Yes, this is the treasure. All of the treasure. Hmm.
Some of this is going in the silk sack.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
I have a general concern. Tarathiel will take a look at the meat that is hanging and try and see if any of it is a headless body of a cleric.
Not that kind of meat. Deer meat,
Okay.
game meat. Mostly still frozen, but looks like it's thawing.
raptor meat.
No raptor meat. No. That
It's
is
a bit gamey.
more more trouble than it's worth.
So
Yeah.
so
It's the-
the meat is thawing in this room, but the cold.
So
is
this
coming
room is
from...
very, very cold, but it's not where you were just standing cold.
okay.
So it's warming up in this room.
Hmm.
There's like
I have a-
puddles of water
I have-
dripping off the meat.
Okay.
I
Bloody
have a
water.
theory, but I don't know that Tarathiel would have that theory, so I'm going to keep it to myself.
Did
This
the
room
did the door
probably
look like it could
reeks.
be broken open, or was there a lock on that cold door?
To the door. No,
The-
it's
the-
it's just shut. Doesn't look like it's been no damage at all. It's been open.
Okay.
It has not been kicked in or anything like that.
Okay, Farazan looks at the other two and he says, "Do you wish to go the subtle route, or do you want me to go straight in?"
I'm going to burn the door down unless y'all have a problem with that.
There's no problem. I can just walk right through. But I do not recommend staying close to that cold.
What if there's somebody like passed out on the other side of the door?
They're frozen.
I can resist the cold. I can resist the
That's
cold
true.
up to a certain point, but do you want me to step in very quickly and come back out?
Well, I hold up a hand with a ball full of flames, like I'm just gonna burn the door down. I mean, hopefully that might kill the mold.
So Farazan will kind of gesture, "Be my guest."
All right. So, Tarathiel, you moved into the meat room.
Yeah, I kind of want a little bit of cover, but I still want to stay close.
Yeah, that's what.
All right. I'm gonna step up here because there's a warning about fire. I don't know why, but there you go. So I'll give a little distance here, and I just start hurling firebolts at the door.
Okay. So you pull up your
That's
hand,
never good.
engulf in fire, hurl it at the door, and as the fire goes over the mold, exploding on the door, the mold quickly expands
Ah!
10 feet out towards you. Give me a Constitution save.
Nope.
Okay, auto fail.
Voluntarily failing. It's a bold
Yeah,
strategy,
it's-
Captain. Let's see how it
See
plays
how
out.
it plays out. Exactly.
19.
All right, you success. You
I
success.
success.
But you take half damage. 1, 11, 19, 22. You take 11 points of cold damage.
Bloody hell.
Okay.
Is that 40-10?
Yes, it
Because
is.
you can do that in one shot.
I know that takes rolling. I just like clicking. It's a.
All right. You said
Just means
11.
you got to do math.
You took 22. You made your saving throw. Therefore, you take 11.
All right. So the cold like creeps up over this invisible shield. And I just get this sort of frosty looking look, and it just crumbles.
That's cool.
So the shield absorbs all that damage, and I'm like, ooh, I had a good plan. And I back up.
Okay. Where are you backing up to?
Away over here.
Okay. Good enough. Just don't end your round there in that there brown stuff.
Guys, I'm trapped now.
It's getting colder in there too.
Can I? Sorry, you mentioned that there was the chest that was open. I think you said there was something in it that it was like slowly
It's empty.
defrosting or something.
No, the
It's
meat.
empty.
The meat that's hanging is slowly defrosting. The silver chest that's lying open on its side on the floor is empty.
Okay.
Do we have a plan B?
So, gut feel, this chest might have contained something that had this mold on it, and that was used to keep this room cold. And that's why the meat's defrosting, is because somebody took whatever it was out.
Oh, I think you're right.
You mean the source of the cold?
Yeah.
Can we go through that wall?
Trathiel's trying to get to the point where he can like see everybody and talk to them without going through the door.
Yeah.
Well, we still have like whisper net going, don't we?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Eye contact is so important when eating a banana, though.
I write that down in my book of wisdom.
No, you're a wizard. It's in a book of intelligence.
Then you need to do that, you seeker of wisdom.
Yeah, I'm just looking for it. Okay.
These walls are
I don't
wood.
know.
Yes.
I don't know how any of that is helpful.
Maybe we take the box with us, and hopefully whatever it is that's causing the cold, we can put it back in and turn the cold off before we freeze to death in this other room.
So Tarathiel, it's
Freezing
cold
to
in
death
here,
doesn't
but
sound fun.
you don't feel like you're in any danger of freezing to death. It's not like that.
My concern
yeah.
is that Fezan took damage standing next to it. So if I come out the door, I'm going to have to A, stand next to it, and B, walk through it.
So the door's
All right,
open. You can leap over it, but you're still. I'll just give you
Still going to
full.
be very cold.
You're still going to have to make a con save, and
I figure.
yeah,
I'm going to start hammering. This is a wooden wall, right?
it is.
Yeah, I'm going to start hammering this with firebolts.
Okay.
Stop with the fire.
Khaldun disappears into the fruit room, and you start hearing smash, smash, splash, splash, or incantation over and over again.
Here's Smoothie.
You notice, Tarathiel, the meat that's actually on the eastern wall seems to be thawing out faster.
I'm going to have myself a barbecue one way or another.
So
I'm trapped between fire and ice. Like, where do I hide? Do I run away from the fire? Do I run away from the ice? Like,
I'm so confused.
I don't like this.
Khaldun, you feel like it's going to take a minute or two to blast through this wall.
Okay.
Fezan, Tarathiel, anything you can do while he's going pyro?
I'm going to check my inventory to see if there is anything that I think I can do, but I don't see that there is. Can we? So you said that the cold is coming from some kind of mold.
Yes, it is. It's brown mold. I mean, at this point, I think at least the players know. Characters aren't sure what it is, but yes, this is brown.
My
mold.
character is learning.
Yeah.
So
That was a big learning experience. Yes.
So fun fact, Jamie showed his original AD&D character. My first role-playing character was created in December of 2016. I have no idea what brown mold is.
Oh, excellent. I like that.
Well, now you do. Ish.
No, I still don't. Still don't know what's happening.
So
I guess
when he cast that fire bolt against the door,
Mhm.
the brown mold almost exploded in size. But it had nowhere to go except for down the hall. Like it's up on the walls now and up on the ceiling.
Mhm.
So you got this tunnel of brown mold coming down this wooden hallway. It barely spread a little bit into the door, but it's not in this space here at all. But it's creeping around.
So Khaldun thought. I mean, he sort of recognized the telltale signs, but obviously he didn't know exactly what it was. But now that he's sort of experienced this explosive growth due to heat, can I do an Arcana check to
yes, you may.
recall some details of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Farazan and Tarathiel, you can give me Arcana or History, if one of those are better.
Nature.
Same for you, Khaldun.
Survival.
Whichever.
Arcana is better, but I rolled a 2, so
Roll the 2. 9.
I can't recall any details.
You've heard of it. You know that it's commonly known as brown mold, but that's about it. Currently, you'd have to look at something to jog your memory.
Okay.
I would have called it ice moss, but that's fine. Tarathiel rolled a 16 on history.
16. Okay. So that is a very good roll. It was harder with history, but that's success. You have heard of this now that you've seen it in action. You saw Khaldun unleash fire on it. Brown mold, when exposed to heat, absorbs the heat and proliferates exponentially.
No more fire.
Using cold against brown mold will kill it.
Cold on the mold.
Cold on the mold.
That's the old rhyme.
That's how you remembered it.
Yeah,
It was in a storybook when you were growing up. Cold on the mold. Kill the frost moss.
Can you do the opposite of fire? Could you maybe freeze this stuff? Anybody got any ice
Tomorrow?
cubes?
I could tomorrow, but not today. It would take me a while to figure out the incantations to do that. I mean, eventually I could, yes, but not right now. As I might actually start. The firebolt is just sort of second nature to me, so I'm actually kind of thinking through now. What would I do to make this? I'm sort of thinking through the symbols and stuff like that as I'm just sort of trying to blow a hole in this wall.
Khaldun, do you have any crazy mountain man powers that'll help?
You mean Farazan?
Sorry.
Oh, well, I was about to say, if the wall is damaged enough, I might just try to charge through it.
You're making headway. It's just taking a little bit of time. It's a pretty thick wall. Like it looks about 2 feet thick. So you're definitely getting through there.
That's a heck of a wall. So
it's a lot of wood. It's like solid tree trunks.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like
Or if you
2 layers of 2x4s, I guess. 4x8s, 20x2s. I don't know.
Can Farazan see if the mold is coming from the doorway, like from the western door?
How do you mean? Like that's where it was when you first arrived?
Does it when we first arrived? Did it look like it had grown from the floor, out from the door, or did it originate in that spot? Do you know what I mean?
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Does it look like it's coming from the room beyond?
Excuse me. Give me an investigation check.
Can I go for perception since you said it first?
I need investigation.
Okay.
Investigation.
All right, fine.
Don't get to use that enough. I like using investigation.
Oh,
okay. Farazan
Zero.
licks the brown mold.
I have no clue.
He
You
licks
think
the
it's
frozen
a good
mold.
idea to go check it out again. No. From this
Sticks his
angle
tongue to
and
it.
Yeah.
basically the fact that you're dumb, you don't know. Character's dumb. You don't know. No. You're not sure, but it has definitely taken over the entire hallway.
Okay.
0.
And I'll spin an inspiration point for this, since that was such a crappy roll. But I did have an idea. Farazan's gonna take his water skin, open it up, and just kind of splash some of the water from where he is into the cold part, and see if that affects the mold at all. Just a handful of water.
Okay, so you're just gonna geyser it. You throw some water from your water skin into and it freezes almost midair and hits the mold as ice.
Okay. But it
I
doesn't
think you
affect it.
just created a new art form.
Yeah. Brown mold ice capades.
Yes.
But it doesn't affect
Now we
it
just
at all.
need to invent. Just
It
need to
does not
invent
affect.
chainsaws.
You don't see any effect on the brown mold. No.
Okay. So throwing mildly cold fruit on it's probably not going to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. So, all right.
That was my next one.
So Farazan will, through the telepathic link again, he says, Galdoon, are you making any progress, and do you want us to wait till you burn the place down before we try to go through this door?
And about that time, the wall breaks open, and it's big enough for you to crawl through, Khaldun.
Is it big enough for Tarathiel to call through?
That might take another minute or so. Or he could, Tarathiel, yeah, Farazan.
I'm bigger than Tarathiel. Okay, yeah.
Farazan
So
would have
before-
like
Killed it.
pried open a little bit. Shimmy through.
So, okay, so I blast a hole in there. I'm like, and I think to Tarathiel, stand back. And the next,
sure
immediately I go, geyser.
You're clearing out the hole?
Yeah, I'm clearing out the hole so it didn't
Okay.
get burned.
All right. You quench the fire against the wall, shoot out 30 gallons of water all over the place, make a nice little mess, clean up a little bit, and you have a nice size, Farazan size hole, big enough to get through without having to squeeze or anything like that. You've made a passage.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So at least
It's really
Tarathiel
good.
can get out.
The deer carcass is now
Yes.
swinging in the room.
So
Well,
the question is, do we want to try to do the same thing to get around the mold, or find some other way to get around?
We could try to go through
Um,
the western wall of the meat room. Just continue.
I mean, we
along.
could
do
try.
that? Can we do that without fire? Have we got a hatchet or something? Because
I have two.
if the mold is growing on the other side and there's somebody hiding in there, we could excite the mold and overrun them.
That could be a mess. Yeah. Oh, you got a hatchet?
I have two. Throwy and choppy.
Throwy and
Throwy
choppy.
and choppy. So I held up my hand. It's like, may I?
Actually,
I can swing an axe.
I've got this masterwork great axe here.
That will do the job.
Okay. So
Tarathiel
yeah,
will,
Farazan's he's watching me blow holes in the wall. He's like, I got this thing.
Hold on.
Excuse me, I've got this thing.
Excuse me. But yeah,
Tarathiel will find another banana and super.
that's funny. So go
All right,
in.
doing good.
Farazan,
Doing good.
Show
Chop,
me
chop.
where you're chopping. Right beside there. Ping.
I'll get a little input. Should I go next to the wall, the corner, or here in the middle? Here or here, basically.
I would go there.
Split the difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Here?
Not quite against the wall, just in case.
Okay. Yes, there, Matt.
Okay. So, you start chopping. Give me two rolls. Just to kind of see two like attack rolls. Just to see how effective you are, how quickly you get through. You cannot miss. This isn't a hit or miss
Mhm.
thing. It's just kind of to see how quickly you get through.
Do you want?
Because Khaldun, fire on just firebolts on a plank of wood will get through by burning through it, but you're chopping holes in it. So, was that another 0? No, it's the same score.
Do you want attack or
Why
damage?
Did you do that? Give me the attacks. Damage. No, I just want to see how well you hit this. Okay.
That's a good one.
23.
That's a good one too.
25. Okay. Chop 1. Your axe goes through completely.
Here's
And
Johnny.
as you're pulling it back, you look at the head of it, and it is frozen solid.
Heat.
You can't see in there; it's dark. But your axe, the head of the axe, it's not damaged. It's just frozen solid, and the ice is looks like it was slowly creeping up the handle towards your hand. So it was very cold where that axe head was just now.
Might want to move down a little.
Yeah. How about right here?
All right. Give me another attack roll.
Okay. You want
See
to
how well you do?
Another one.
Yes, please. Good enough. You don't completely break through, but you hit through, do some damage. Give me one more attack roll.
Okay.
16. You plunge. Yeah, you plunge the head of the axe into the wall, through it, and pull it back, and it is not frozen.
Okay. I think this is where we want to go through.
At this point, you can just keep attacking. However, after about 4 or 5 chops, you're starting to break a hole in the wall. You hear from that room, and you've got light on, right?
Yeah.
Your gauntlet is glowing. You hear from the other room a female voice yell out, "What in the Farlawn is going on?" Or what in Farlawn's name? What in the Farlawn?
What's Farlawn? I don't.
My name is Farazan. I'm with Resistance. I'm here to save you.
Yeah. That's funny. No, he stops with the axe, and he says, "We are here on behalf of the Church of St. Cuthbert. Trying to, you don't have any other names besides what's
Jinya and
Sarkum and Jinya.
Sarkum and Jinya.
Sarkum.
You know, Rufus. He's the other acolyte.
Okay, well, we don't know
in the church.
We don't know the names of the people we're after, other than Sarkum.
No. Sorry.
Okay.
No, but those are the names you know from the church.
So he says,
"Poor Rufus."
Jinya from the Church of St. Cuthbert sent us to find Sarkum and his companions. Who is in this room?
Well, you're too late. Oh, hang on. And you hear a little bit of moving, padded footstep walking towards. So you've chopped a hole in this wall, and it opens up, and you see that area reveal itself, and you see a woman walk into the light up to the wall. And she looks a lot like... Oh, no.
Okay. She looks like a drow.
She's not... Yes, definitely elven. Her skin is dusky gray versus pitch black.
Okay.
But she does have stark white hair.
Okay.
Currently,
Clothing?
she's just wearing travel attire. Like, not really wearing... You don't see weapons. She has a shillelagh. She has a staff, and she's wearing robes. And she just peers through, because she can... And she puts her hand up to the light. She asks if you can kind of shutter that. You can tell that her eyes are hurting from the light in the darkness.
Okay.
My name is Shenson.
He pulls his hand behind his back so it doesn't shine directly on her.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Sarkum is dead. I actually have his body in here. When those inbred hobnobs attacked us, he saved my life. But they took his head. I just thought I could at least save the body. I've heard you guys messing around out there. Don't use fire on the brown mold. It just makes it grow. You're gonna want to use cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we have discovered this through mostly error, but some trial.
Experimentation. That's what we've been doing.
If you write it down, it's science.
Yes.
Somewhat of a scientist myself, actually.
I am taking notes.
Love that. I love that meme. I can get rid of it in the morning, but that fight took it. And you're looking at her now, and she is beat up. Like, she is wounded heavily. That fight took a lot out of us. It took his life and almost took mine.
Is there anyone else in the room with you?
No.
Well, if you'll give me just another moment, I will open up the rest of this wall so that you can get out, and we can recover Sarkum's body.
Okay. She backs up into the darkness. You see her go by, and what you're seeing is the edge of what obviously looks like a well.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like she moves behind the well, just kind of get out of the way, flying splinters and whatnot.
Okay.
Just don't go too far north. The mold has crept down a little bit.
All right.
Does Tarathiel get a sense that this woman is who she claims?
You can give me an insight check if you like.
Yeah. Let's get ready to say somebody else do that.
15.
You feel like she's being very straightforward, forthcoming.
Yeah. I figured she was, but Tarathiel would check.
Don't nobody touch nothing.
That's right.
So a couple more chops,
Mhm.
and you've got a Farazan size hole.
Excellent.
And you see her walk back around into the light a little bit. Let me open this room up.
I really hope it looks like Looney Tunes. Like,
Oh. Yeah, hopefully he's not the body's not frozen.
Oh yeah.
That will take a while.
Sorry.
So you see to the north, the brown mold has taken up a good quarter of the room. It is freezing in here. It is ice cold in this room. She's chattering, but she doesn't look like she's any worse for the wear. You figure, considering she's only been here maybe 8 to 10 hours tops. But it's definitely ice cold. And to the south, in the corner, you see a headless body lying in robes, and in one hand, holding a mace. Or not really holding it, obviously holding it more, but it has a mace around his hand, but there's a strap that keeps it attached to the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she points. That's Sarkum's body. I don't know where the head is.
we found it.
Oh, good. I think it'd be good to return it to his church. Again, my name is Shinsen. I was taking a walk through the forest. I maintain the shrine of Farland here at the Lucky Monkey, and when I came back, the Lucky Monkey was under attack. Dozens of thugs and roguelike people. I know I heard several of them boasting about how the alley bashers are going to make their way back. I don't know what that's all about, but they killed everybody, and we barely escaped down here into the basement.
Just the two of you.
Yes, in the end.
Well, if there's nothing else you need, we should probably get you and Sarkum's body out of here and back to Cauldron. Or at least you out of harm's way.
Thank you.
I'll step through.
Okay.
I'll bend over and pick up Sarkum's body.
Okay.
Did he tell you anything?
Didn't have a lot of time. I know that he had some magical blueprints or schematics on him, but they took that from him. They didn't seem to care about much else on his body, but that baboon thing took the blueprints and gave it to this woman, tall, red hair, short cut, fully clad in armor. Like she was decked out, and she took it and looked very pleased by it, and she left. I don't know where she went. And then after that, all I heard was just screaming and yelling from fighting, and then eventually that turned into screaming and yelling of partying. They've been up there at it all night, just drinking and tearing the place apart.
There's they piled up bodies outside, and there's some velociraptors as well.
Oh, are my boys okay?
Your execute.
They're eating well.
Oh, good. That's good. Oh well, that's fine. No, I mean that's fine. I'm sorry they're dead, but I'm glad the boys are getting some food.
They have a veritable smorgasbord.
That is unfortunate.
So red-haired woman.
Yes.
I'm thinking back to the banquet.
Yes.
And there was a warrior woman there. Did she have red hair?
She did. It was short, and she was covered in scars on her face. Of course, you didn't see her in any armor. You only saw her at the banquet, so she was decked out in
So
regal
I guess
attire.
I assumed she was a warrior based on her appearance.
Yeah, I mean it's not a far stretch to think that. And I don't know where. I'd never seen her before. I don't know where she went.
Did she have scars on her face?
Scars?
So,
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I think maybe the writer just really likes short, red-haired women.
So some people have a type.
That's fair. Me too.
Good point. So, where are the hillbillies? Are they gone? And do you see her? She's starting to gather herself. She's been stuck in this room, freezing to death, not knowing what's going on for the last 8 hours. But now that you are here, and you're talking to her, and she starts to, she stands up, she brushes herself off, and her demeanor turns more confident. She has not necessarily a mean look on her face, but like a disgusted or sour look on her face when she says, where are the hillbillies all gone? Those big thugs from the hills.
We killed the leader, and the rest of them didn't have a stomach for fight after that.
Good. All right.
The courtyard upstairs might still be full of monkeys, though. I don't know if it was like that before.
They'll follow anything that has strength. I could talk to them. Would you mind if I joined you going to Cauldron? I need to go. I need to speak with someone.
Sure.
Thank you.
Is it urgent? I mean, do we need to go now, or could we leave in the morning? We're kind of beat up as well.
I think resting would probably be wise. It can wait at least until we heal up.
Okay.
I don't think we should stay in here though. I'm freezing. And she starts
let's
moving.
get out of here. We should maybe cook up some of this meat before it goes bad.
So I'm carrying a body. Can someone can grab a slight side of beef, please?
She walks out and she walks over to a deer, and she pulls out a cutting knife, and she just starts cutting flanks, filleting,
Nice.
pulls off a nice. So I
like her.
I got this one a couple miles down to the south. She cuts off a couple of pieces and enough for everybody to eat heartily for the night.
So she just gained faction with Khaldun.
Khaldun will remember this.
+1.
Yeah, what's that +1 floating over Khaldun's head?
Yes.
Yeah. Oddly, it's in red.
All right, where do you guys want to hunker down for the night?
Well, I don't know if I would kind of like to explore a little bit, but this place is an inn, so there's probably tons of like bedrooms
That's
where we
a
could comfortably sleep.
Very, very safe assumption. Yes.
I guess if she knows the place as well, she might be able to give us some
Oh, good
tips on
point.
where
Okay.
to hang out.
So bring
Yeah,
your
good
characters
point.
back up to the kitchen, and she does. She's kind of type A personality style. Once she gets moving, she's got the meat. She gets up front, starts leading the way, and she heads down the corridor, where you fought, down to the far end in the corner. And she just walks up the door, pulls out a key and opens it, walks inside. This was, oh my God, the freaking inbred, one-eyed son. There's a piano in this room that's flipped over on the side and been shattered to pieces. I cannot believe they messed with my piano.
This room?
Yes, I'm getting ready to open it up.
Oh, okay.
You play much?
Yeah, I used to play all the time. Quite fond of it. Do you play?
Tarathiel holds up the hand with 2 missing fingers. No.
Well, you could do drums or something. I mean, don't have to give up all your whole entire career. And so she steps in here and
It's hard to
It's
get
a
those
be-
major
it's a
chords on the
bedroom.
piano.
It's just, I mean, it's just it's a diminished third, right? You've only got 3 fingers. Music joke.
Most of the rooms upstairs should be empty. There weren't a whole lot of people staying here before they attacked. Down on this floor, you've got mostly just places to eat. There's a bar up front. The chapel to Farlan is right beside my bedroom. Not a whole lot going on down here. There's the courtyard. Speaking of which, let me go talk to them real quick. And she pads off.
So I get to the top of the stairs and I realize that if we're going to stay here, it's probably better to leave Sarkum's body and head in the well room where it's cool.
Okay.
For the time being. So I'm going to go down there and, I'll put the body down, place his head on his chest.
Okay.
Where it's cool and it'll, his body won't rot.
Preserve it. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When you saw them give the plans to the redhead woman, where were they?
Where were the plans?
No, where was the redhead woman? I want to see if I can pick up her tracks and see where she went.
Oh, well, most of the fighting occurred down in the basement.
Okay.
She was down there fighting as well. Fairly certain she might be a priest. Not sure. Oh, that reminds me. And she reaches, well, actually right now she's out in the courtyard and you hear her talking in baboon. And she comes back after
That's
a minute or so.
Interesting.
They're going to leave us alone. They liked the big baboon guy, but now that he's dead, they just want to hang out in the courtyard. Just don't mess with them. They'll leave you alone. I found this, by the way, and she pulls out. I'm sorry, I didn't find this. I pulled this off of the big hillbilly boss, off his neck. The were baboon. Where you get bit by a baboon and turn into a were baboon. That's crazy.
Over there, baboon.
And she pulls out this symbol. It's a triangle of wood painted black with tiny shapes carved into each point. Are you writing that down? A symbol is a tiny triangle of wood painted black with tiny shapes carved into each of the 3 points. 1 point is a hand gripping an eyeball. 1 point is 6 arrows in X shape. And 1 point is a wrathful demonic face. And she hands it to somebody, like, here, take a look at this. I pulled this off his neck during the fight. I'm not really sure. I'm fairly confident I know a lot about the religions in this area, at least. But all 3 of them together, I'm not sure what this is. I do recognize the one in the corner, the hand with the eyeball. That's definitely Vecna. The other two.
Can I think about religion and
Absolutely.
maybe identify some of these symbols?
Give me some religion checks.
Got religion.
It's pretty
12.
It's pretty decent
Which
religion.
is better than a 7.
You have some religion. It is better than a 7.
It's me in the corner.
I was gonna say, if you roll religion and history together, is that old timey religion?
All 3 of you can roll religion. You don't have to be great at it. Just
Yeah, definitely not great at it.
this isn't like Pathfinder. You don't have to be trained in it to do it.
Oh,
18.
Farazan's
right.
pretty good at it.
It's 16, yeah.
And 16. 16 nature are both good enough. Strangely enough, Farazan, who's been sequestered in the mountains of a tundra for his entire life, knows all about this religions. So the 2 of you together, basically bouncing ideas off of each other. You obviously agree that's Vecna. One of the small symbols is Hextor, Hextor, and then the third one is Erethnul. And what they have in common is they're all very evil gods.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Farazan, for some reason, you know this as well. There is a small cult that takes worshippers, or is made up of worshippers of all 3 of these religions. And this cult is known as the Ebon Triad.
That seems to track.
And their basic belief is that those 3 gods will come together into an overgod and be the most powerful being in the multiverse. And it is their goal to make this happen. Their goal in their life is to facilitate the creation of the overgod.
What is their what is their practice? What are they doing? Are they killing followers of other gods, or are they collecting artifacts? Are they finding old books? I mean,
they're collecting information. They're gathering information to find out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's relatively new. It's a relatively new religion or cult from these 3 religions, and that the followers of each of these individual churches look down upon them for thinking that their particular god is just a piece of a whole.
Okay.
So they're a broken off group from all 3 of these religions that have come together, and it is a very secretive. Like, need to roll an 18 to figure that out. So right now, what they're doing is they're looking for information and ancient artifacts and locations and information to basically bring about this over deity, overgod, overlord.
So they don't display their little
Voltron evil god.
Yes, I was thinking, it's like, will this be its final form?
That's Cowart in the chat.
Yeah, Voltron, and then evil Megazord. Yeah, no.
So you guys are talking about this bouncing off, and Shinsen, she just kind of starts nodding. Eventually, like you're reminding her, triggering some memories, and she starts adding in a little bit. Khaldun, it kind of makes sense. You're really from a different plane of existence. You really hadn't heard of these gods yet. Not too much.
They may exist just with different names or maybe different aspects, but
Yep.
the concepts could be similar.
Yes.
But
so
Khaldun actually doesn't have religion. He really doesn't know that much about the gods, so it's not unusual that he
Not
didn't really
familiar.
know.
Vecna is evil god of magic control. Vecna is personified as a lich. Hexter is a basically a god of chaos and just violence in general. And Erethnul,
God of 13-year-old edgelords. What's your name? My name is Hextor.
and Erethnul is think Malar, think
Oh yeah.
Rovagug. That's Erethnul,
Ugh.
the bestial god, that kind of thing.
I don't like any of this.
What's the like?
This
Yeah,
all
I pulled that
sounds
off his
very
neck
bad.
during the fight.
So I think
Here,
probably
take it back.
our baboon friend is a follower of Erithul, or at least was. He seems, sort of a bestial god.
That makes a lot more sense now, actually. He probably was given the gift of this were form. Well, I don't know. I'm just spitting out words. I'm tired, man. I've been up all night. I'm frozen solid. I've been sleeping near a dead guy. No offense. I'm going to go nap. And she heads off to her room.
Will you be all right?
The only good thing I can say about cults is at least they can be identified with their iconography.
And they're small.
Yes, they're not the full church. And these are, like I said, this is like an outcast cult from the 3 other religions involved.
Okay. All right. And where did she go? I'm sorry, I was in a different window.
She ran down the hall. She went to her room.
I see her.
You heard her shut the door and lock it, and yeah, she just is going to pass out for a couple hours.
Okay.
Slams the door. Metallica music starts playing through the
Yeah.
Yes.
She does look very emo.
Vesk metal.
What are you guys going to do?
Well, I was going to ask her which one of these rooms we could use, but
I guess we can
She
use
said
any of them.
any of the rooms
Yeah.
upstairs is probably fine. She said.
All the rooms upstairs. You've already found one of the rooms. It's got 3 beds. Was the where you broke into?
Okay.
Originally, it's the quarters for the people that work here, which are obviously not going to be using those beds.
Yep.
Has a broken window though. You kept up all night with the banging shutters.
Yeah.
Is it worth
we-
our time to sort of reveal some of this stuff?
If you want to take some time, I'm just going to open everything up because those few that ran away ran with everyone. There is nobody. To be
Yeah, I
found.
just want to make sure no
Tired.
one's going to stab us in the back in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So just to save you some time, you do
Yeah.
open everything up.
Dorothea will start cooking up some steaks. If the rest of them want to go searching.
Farazan's going to open the door and toss out a couple of fresh carcasses for the pets.
Ignore
For the
the
gibbons. Ignore the people.
figures that you-
They're not
yeah,
there.
Oh my.
Yeah, they're not there.
I'm glad we came in where we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Back
You
door
might
is
be glad
best
of that
door.
when we don't level up because we lost all that XP.
Yeah.
So that is the entire first floor. I have a map at the second floor, but it's literally just bedroom after bedroom after bedroom after bedroom. So the second floor is just a whole bunch of bedrooms. They're all ransacked. I mean, they came through here and they just trashed the place. This front area that is a bar. The stairs go up to the second floor. There are stairs to the eastern area over here in the southeastern corner of the building. Those go upstairs to the second floor. Everything on the second floor is actually I may have it just so you guys want to look at it. Yeah, everything on the second floor is just bedrooms and bedrooms and bedrooms.
The courtyard has a statue in that. What is it? A fountain or something? What is it a statue of?
It is a fountain. Hang on 1 second.
The statue of Falagala.
Yeah.
For like a.
Yeah.
So that's the second floor. And
Okay.
you can just see it's just bedroom. Ransacked. There's
Mushroom.
nobody's here. There are no patrons here. Yeah, it's just a ransacked mess.
There's just
Okay.
signs on the wall that says, if you need patrons, go to patreon.com/backpationet.
If you do so on Sundays, you'll get early release of Roxanne Rune Lords. Let's see. You go into the courtyard, take a look. That is a fountain, and the central courtyard looks like it escaped the devastation that has been visited upon the rest of the roadhouse.
Excellent.
Trees and flower beds accent the area. A white gravel path winds past a pair of marble fountains that bear intricate carving of monkeys taunting all manners of strange monsters. So it kind of continues on.
It's the lucky monkey.
Yes. It's kind of like the ones you saw out front that had, ones being snuck up on by being eaten by an alligator and things like that.
Yeah.
Just a continuation of that. Both of the fountains are like that.
Okay.
And you go out there, and the baboons, they eye you, but they don't appear aggressive.
Okay.
They're just, walking around taking dumps.
That's good.
That's what monkeys do. They eat and poop, and then throw the poop at you and eat some more.
Or eat and poop. I missed a very important and in that sentence.
Yes, there's a conjunction.
Like what?
Yes.
In conjunction?
So if you have no other plans, you can bed down for the night. If there's something you want to do in the meantime, otherwise we'll take a long rest. You guys can take a long rest without being bothered.
Rest.
Now, you do hear occasionally outside bones crunching and flesh being chewed on.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, it is peaceful as could be. The rain's coming down on the roof, and it puts you right to sleep. And we'll pick up here next week.
Okay.
Is there something you want to do?
I was just gonna say, Fairzone's actually gonna take one of those blankets and go down, not in the cold, but close to the cold. Being in this tropical area for the last however many months.
In the meat room.
Yeah, you're probably very comfortable.
Yeah,
Spoon the headless corpse.
go back down there and be like, "This is great."
The name of a great punk band, I reckon.
Yeah.
Spoon the headless corpse.
Oh, man.
That does sound like a good punk name.
Yeah, I think in order to just continue demonstrating Tarathiel's paranoia, he might say goodnight, hop into a room, and then wait till everyone's asleep and move to a different room.
He just rides back to Cauldron while everyone's asleep.
Just leaves.
I'm just leaving. I'm done. All right, we will pick up here the next morning after a long rest next week and figure out what you guys are going to do. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Cowart, good to see you as always. Who else? I didn't see anybody. I wasn't really paying too much attention.
Finder of Paths and Stars was here at the beginning. I don't know if they're still around. But they're waiting for the podcast version, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's in the works.
What does that mean?
It means I'm in week 10 of this quarter of grad school. There are 11 weeks. So you can look for it in the next few weeks.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Good luck with your finals coming up.
Yeah, next week. I have finals.
All right. Good luck
Good
with
luck.
that.
All right.
See you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, all. Come to the Discord.